Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tech for Senior. This is the 19th of February, and I'm Ron Brown. I'll be your host today. And so we do appreciate you coming, and we'll be here for the next, I guess, hour and a half. And we've got a big program for you, so we should have lots of fun. Bob's going to be doing his security news update. Chris and Jim are off in their van camping and doing stuff in the wilderness. So, but they have their photo fun for us. Ray's going to talk all about Android Auto, and I'm going to talk about part two, how new automobile technology empowers seniors on the road. This will complete part one and part two. And the video is now posted. So if you want to go to our channel, you can download it and use it in your clubs or wherever for any teaching you want. And then of course, Ray has his music for our outro. Today, Huey and I were talking. I said, this is driving me nuts, this streaming service stuff. And he said, well, let's play the he did a really excellent video on Suppose TV where you can put in the various shows you want, and it tells you what streaming service to get. And that was done about a year ago. So we're going to be playing that in our premiere version today. Mike's going to do his final talk on the different types of charging systems in EVs. And Bill is going to talk about some Windows updates or Windows tips. So that's where we are. We had a really good show last week on Thursday. A lot of you came and listened, and welcome to that. The links, of course, to the show are on our website and in our newsletter. Now, so if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, you should. And also, we want to thank our sponsors, the Glendora Seniors Computer Club, Geeks on Tour, and Central Florida Computer Society. Thank you for sponsoring our newsletter and all the great work that you do. Well, this week, it happened. The disaster that we've all been waiting for, excuse me, we've been talking about. Gail and I were watching, of course, our video at supper time on Prime 2 days ago, and the ads came. Remember, we've been talking about this, and we talked about it on our Thursday show, the four of us, and we thought, well, we'll just wait and see what happens. How many ads? Maybe we'll get maybe the odd ad. Maybe it won't be as bad as cable TV. Well, let me tell you, it was bad. It was ads all through the whole show. It was terrible. So anyway, I quickly went on Prime and paid the $2.99 a month, and the ads went away the next day. So just to let you know what you're in for, it was not very good. Although the ads were targeted, they were sort of ads that I might be interested in. But we just haven't seen ads on. We just don't watch anything that has ads on it. So anyway, it was really weird. So just to let you know, you're in for a treat when this happens on Prime. So it's coming soon. All right. So let me talk. Huey, you had a good Wednesday?
I had a good Wednesday. Yep. But I also had a good WinSig on Sunday, and it went well. We had a good crowd, and then I'm getting ready for my Let's Talk AI on Friday. If anyone's interested in joining us, send me an email at huey@huey.net. Say you want to be part of the AI discussion group, and I will add your name, and I'll be sending out the link later in the week.
Great. Thanks, Huey. And Bob, you're muted.
I noticed. It's hard to mute me too.
You got some interesting news for us today, don't you?
Yeah. Why don't we do that right now?
Okay.
For anybody that might be using a Wyze product, if you ran into a problem Friday, like I did, and were told all kinds of good things to try to fix the problem, well, I got an email from Wyze today, and they said, well, we had a problem. There was actually an outage. It was planned outage. Wyze experienced a service outage due to an AWS issue, which led to a security incident. While most accounts were unaffected, some users saw incorrect thumbnails and videos from other cameras. I think we heard that once before. Not pleasant. This was caused by a third-party caching client library error during high load conditions. Excuses. I'm sorry, I don't like excuses. WISE has notified all affected users, added extra verification layers, and bypassed caching for user devices checks to prevent further incidents. They apologized for the event and are committed to regaining customer trust. We all know once you lose trust, it's very hard to get it back. And there are some customers who have now said, I'll never use one of their cameras again because somebody else was able to get access to that camera. It didn't affect everybody. It only affected a small number of their total user base. But those that did get affected, hey, it could have been you. My problem wasn't related to a camera. It was related to my home monitoring. It had nothing to do with this particular problem. But I was told, well, try this, try that. In the meanwhile, the whole problem was they had taken down the entire system. So no matter what I would have tried, it would not have worked. Lack of communication, even within the company.
All right. Thanks for the update. I know that we just got those emails out this morning. I got mine, mine this morning. Ray, you got out to your car so you could finally do your Android Auto, right?
Yes, I
did
dug
you
it.
did you shovel a path out there or what?
I did. And shoveling is not as easy as it used to be, I found out. But I slowed myself down, finished it all, and now it was, so you'll see the efforts of my work.
All right. Well, we do appreciate it. We appreciate all the efforts you did shoveling your way out to the car to get the video made. There you go. And Bill James, now listen, I sent you a whole bunch of gadgets for Tuesday, so you better choose a really good gadget for our Tuesday newsletter, okay?
I've gotten them, and I'm going to start working on that this afternoon.
All right. Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
Right. All right. Listen, let's get going. We've got a big show for you today. Bob, are you ready to roll?
Sir, I sure think so. Here is my security news roundup for the week ending February 16th, 2024. Microsoft rolls out patches for 73 flaws, including 2 Windows 0 days. Microsoft has released patches to address 73 security flaws spanning its software lineup as part of its Patch Tuesday updates for February 2024, including 2 0 days that have come under active exploitation. Of the 73 vulnerabilities, 5 are rated critical, 65 are rated important, and 3 are rated moderate in severity. This is in addition to 24 flaws that have been fixed in the Chromium-based Edge browser since the release of the January 2024 Patch Tuesday updates. Read more at thehackernews.com. Microsoft, OpenAI warn of national state hackers weaponizing AI for cyber attacks. Nation-state actors associated with Russia, North Korea, Iran, and China are experimenting with artificial intelligence and large language models to complement their ongoing cyber attack operations. The findings come from a report published by Microsoft in collaboration with OpenAI, both of which said they disrupted efforts made by 5 state-affiliated actors that used its AI services to perform malicious cyber activities by terminating their assets and accounts. Read more at thehackernews.com. Ubuntu command not found tool could trick users into installing rogue packages. Cybersecurity researchers have found that it's possible for threat actors to exploit a well-known utility called command not found to recommend their own rogue packages and compromised systems running Ubuntu operating system. While Command Not Found serves as a convenient tool for suggesting installations for uninstalled commands, it can be inadvertently manipulated by attackers through the Snap repository, leading to deceptive recommendations of malicious packages, cloud security firm ℍ𝕠𝕟 said in a report shared with the Hacker News. It remains uncertain how extensive these capabilities have been exploited, underscoring the urgency for heightened vigilance and proactive defense strategies, ℍ𝕠𝕟 said. Read more at thehackernews.com. Bumblebee malware returns with new tricks, targeting U.S. businesses. The infamous malware loader and initial access broker known as Bumblebee has resurfaced after a 4-month absence as part of a new phishing campaign observed in February 2024. Enterprise security firm Proofpoint said the activity targets organizations in the U.S. with voicemail-themed lures containing links to OneDrive URLs. The URLs led to a Word file with names such as release Evans number 96.docm, the digits before the file extension buried. The company said in a Tuesday report, the Word document spoofed the consumer electronics company Humane. Opening the document leverages VBA macros to launch a PowerShell command to download and execute another PowerShell script from a remote server that in turn retrieves and runs the Bumblebee loader. Read more at thehackernews.com. A threat to Starlink? U.S. confirms Russia developing anti-satellite system. The White House has confirmed that Russia is developing an anti-satellite weapon after news of the technology raised alarm bells among congressional leaders. While I'm limited by how much I can share about the specific nature of the threat, I can confirm that it is related to an anti-satellite capability that Russia is developing, White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby said on Thursday. But based on Kirby's statements, it sounds like the anti-satellite weapon is still in the works. First, it is not an active capability that has been developed, he said. And though Russia's pursuit of this particular capability is troubling, there is no immediate threat to anyone's safety. Read more at PCMag.com. U.S. state government network breached by a former employee's account. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency has revealed that an unnamed state government organization's network environment was compromised via an administrator account belonging to a former employee. This allowed the threat actor to successfully authenticate to an internal virtual private network access point, the agency said in a joint advisory published Thursday alongside the Multi-State Information Sharing and Analysis Center. The threat actor connected to the virtual machine through the victim's VPN with the intent to blend in with legitimate traffic to evade detection. Read more at thehackernews.com. DOJ interrupts Russian hacking campaign that infiltrated homes and small businesses. The Department of Justice announced Thursday that it successfully disrupted a Russian hacking campaign that infiltrated the routers of homes and small businesses. The department said it neutralized a network of hundreds of small office and home office routers in a court-authorized operation. The operations copied and deleted stolen and malicious data and files from routers that were compromised, the DOJ said. The crime includes spear phishing and other credential harvesting campaigns against targets of interest to the Russian government, including the U.S. and foreign governments, military and security targets, and corporate organizations, according to the announcement. Read more at thehill.com. U.S. Internet leaked years of internal customer emails. Roughly a week ago, Krebs on Security was contacted by Hold Security, a Milwaukee-based cybersecurity firm. Hold Security founder Alex Holden said his researchers had unearthed a public link to a U.S. Internet email server listing more than 6,500 domain names, each with its own clickable link. Drilling down into those individual domain links revealed inboxes for each employee or user of the exposed host names. Some of the emails dated back to 2008. Others were as recent as the present day. Securance counts among its customers dozens of state and local governments. Read more at KrebsOnSecurity.com. This week's must-see on my YouTube channel. Tax season is here. So are the cyber crooks. Here's some advice so you can go ahead and file those taxes with confidence and let the cyber crooks know that when it comes to your personal information, the joke's on them. Please watch my video on that topic by following the link listed. Did you know television laugh tracks, or pre-recorded laughter designed to give the illusion of a laughing studio audience, debuted in 1950 on the Hank McCoon Show? 90% of the world's data was generated between 2019 and the present. Is the unexpected really unexpected if you're expecting the unexpected? Just thought you might want to know. In the morning, there is meaning. In the evening, there is feeling. Thanks to Gertrude Stein. And that's a wrap for this week's Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye, and thanks for watching and listening.
Now we're going to move on to Chris and Jim aren't here. They're off in their vanning around and having.
Ron, they were here.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they came on, but
there's
still.
Chris. Yeah, there's Chris.
Oh, Chris is here. Okay. All right. Well, through the magic of internet and all the technology they have, they're here because they're not at home. So let me play the video Chris has for us. Let me share this screen and we'll get going.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Fun with Photos. Today I want to introduce you to a fantastic little app called Snapseed. It can make your photos look absolutely stunning. I'm Chris Guld with Geeks on Tour. First of all, Snapseed is an app that you must download and install on your phone. It works with iPhones and iPads. It works with Androids. It also works with Chromebooks. If you can install an Android app on your Chromebook, that's a great way to go. It does not work on Windows or Mac. It's not a desktop program at all. Once it's installed, you can use it as a standalone app, but realize then you can only edit photos that are on that same device. I like using it from Google Photos. Since it's made by Google, they work together. On an Android, you would open the photo that you want to edit, tap the edit button, and then scroll over to more. You'll see Snapseed there. On the Google Photos iOS app, iPhone or iPad, you open the photo and you just swipe up on it and you will see Open in Snapseed. Now on the geeksontour.com website, we have a learning guide. It is for members only, but it's a complete learning guide to Snapseed, including written instructions and a playlist of videos. Or for free, you can watch our YouTube show, What Does This Button Do? Episode number 240. Today, I just want to whet your appetite by showing you what I can do with 4 different photos. This old photo of Yosemite that looks so washed out, I'm going to show you how I turn it into this. This photo of the Gateway Arch on the Mississippi River, I'm going to show you how I turn it into this. This picture of Jim and me in front of the Pantheon in Rome, I wanted to use as a post, so I'm going to show you how to add text to a banner at the bottom. This photo of Niagara Falls is to demonstrate how you can use a brush to just get more color in a certain area, like that rainbow. And lastly, everybody asks, how do you get rid of the wrinkles? Well, look at this. I'll show you how I do that. For this first picture, I'm going to use my Android, my Samsung phone, and notice I am in Google Photos. I open the picture I want to fix, tap Edit, scroll over on the horizontal menu till I hit More, and then scroll over until I see Snapseed. Snapseed must be installed on this device. Now, what I want to do, it's called a tool, and it's the very first tool, Tune Image. What you do is you swipe up and down on the photo to get your choices. I like this one called Ambiance. Notice it says Ambiance 0 at the very top. Now if I swipe right or left, it gives me more or less of that feature. Is that nice or what? I like it. I tap the check mark. I want to use one more tool, and that is Details. Notice they are the first and second tools. Details, same thing. I can go up and down to choose which. I like Structure. I go right and left to choose more or less. I like that. And so I tap the check mark. Now I'm out looking at my finished product. If I want to see what my original looked like, you long press. Is that dull and boring and that beautiful or what? On the Android now, I can just tap Done and I am back to Google Photos. And since that was a very old photo, it had to make a copy of it and it put the result in today. So there is the result in Google Photos. For the next one, I'm going to use the iPad because I like using the bigger screen. I open Google Photos, and I'll find the photo I want to edit. It's that one. Notice that this is back in June of 2004, so you can find those old favorite photos and make them look better. Since I'm on an Apple device now, I just swipe up and choose Open in Snapseed, as long as Snapseed is installed. Sometimes you'll find that a previous photo is still open. In that case, you have to force quit Snapseed and start over with Google Photos and open in Snapseed. Now I have it right. And notice that I no longer see the word tools along the bottom. Instead, I have a pencil. And that's just because of the orientation. If I hold my iPad vertically, then I get the words tools down at the bottom. But I want to hold it horizontally, so I use this pencil, and there is the same Tune Image. I rub up and down, Ambiance, increase it, and check mark, Tools, and Details, and Structure, and increase it. Wow, is that better or what? There was my original dull photo. There is the new, almost three-dimensional. Also, on the iOS devices, there is no Done to return you to Google Photos. I have to tap the Share and Save, and then go back to Google Photos manually. Sometimes it can be hard to see where Snapseed dated your photo, whether it appears next to the existing one or not. I use, therefore, the recently added. If I tap on search and recently added, it will show me whatever most recent photos were added, regardless of the date they have listed as date taken. So here's the one that was just added. I can scroll up and see that, yes, it was dated the same as the original. For the next three photos, I'm just going to show you what to do in Snapseed, not the whole process from Google Photos. So here is that one of us in front of the Pantheon. I swipe up, open in Snapseed, And what I want a black border. I'm going to do that with a tool called Expand. And then you just drag this little, you have a choice of expanding smart. So it tried to assume that the whole picture needed to be. I didn't want that. Tools, Expand. I want to make sure that it's a black border, not a white or a smart. And I drag this little marker down, and I now have a black border. Now I want to put text on that border, so I choose the text tool and double tap here to change, and ℎ𝕠𝕤𝕠𝕠𝕟 And now I want to move that down into the border, and I am done. For this Niagara Fall and rainbows, I first like to do my normal ambiance and detail. But then my main purpose for showing you this picture is to use something called the brush tool. I want more color, but only in the rainbow. So I get into the brush, I choose saturation, and now I can just rub my finger on the rainbow, and it gets brighter without overwhelming us with the rest of the picture. There's my original. There's the new one. Yes. Now for those nasty wrinkles, there is a special tool called Portrait, and it automatically brightens my face a bit. I can still rub up and down. Skin smoothing is what I want. Rub over to the right, and most of the wrinkles are gone. I want it even a little bit more bright. That's called face spotlight, and I move over. You do have to be careful not to overdo these things, but what do you think? That's my original. That's the improved one. Snapseed, try it. You'll like it. And remember, if you join geeksontour.com, you'll get a complete learning guide and lots more videos on learning Snapseed.
And Marie, we'll take questions at the end, okay?
Okay, yeah, I just was this is for them. That's all.
Yeah. So I would point out that one of the big advantages of having a Chromebook is, of course, you can use Snapseed on a Chromebook quite easily because it's an Android app, and it gives you a full big picture of, so you're not working with it on a phone. It's really excellent application for a Chromebook. Ray, are you getting ready to roll?
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, go for it.
What is Android Auto? Well, Android Auto is a mobile app that allows features from your Android phone to appear on a car's compatible entertainment head unit screen and be voice operated. Now, if your vehicle does not have a factory installed navigation system, Android Auto is a smart way to have your route appear on the larger infotainment screen. Now, to utilize the benefits of Android Auto, some older cars require having your Android phone running version 8.0 or higher physically plugged into the car's USB connector, while newer models allow for a wireless connection. So you're going to have to do a little research on your own to determine if your car is compatible with Android Auto. As an example, most Ford vehicles starting in 2017 are compatible with Android Auto, while Ford cars built in 2021 and later will work with wireless Android Auto. Now, to make it work with being plugged in, you have to have the right USB cable. And you've heard me say this before, while USB-C offers many advantages over their USB-A counterpart, not all USB-C cables have the same capability. Some are made only for charging your phone and therefore will not work with Android Auto. So be sure to use either the one that came with your phone, or if making a purchase, be sure it says Android Auto cable or words to that effect. And as you can see, it says that in this copy of this Amazon ad that I have here. Now, wireless adapters. For those driving a non-wireless vehicle, wireless Android Auto adapters are available. They nicely eliminate the need to plug and unplug your phone that you take with you each time you enter or leave your car, and with the added benefit of eliminating the wire that may be draped over your center console. However, these devices can be on the expensive side. For example, Amazon offers the bestseller, the Motorola MA1, for about $60. Now, Android Automotive is different than Android Auto. Some car models built in the last few years have Android Automotive, which is a full operating system built into the car at the factory and optimized for vehicle infotainment systems. So in addition to the typical tasks provided by Android Auto, Android Automotive can operate specific vehicle functions, such as controlling the inside temperature through air conditioning and heater operations. Android Automotive does not need your smartphone to be in the car for it to operate. Now, for those in the market for a new car, you will want to discuss this feature with the salesperson, since for most non-luxury vehicles, Android Automotive is not a standard option. All right, so what is Android phone in the car? Well, the compartment below the dash in my car allows my phone to lay on the charging pad while connected with a short cable to the USB-A port. And then when the cover is closed, the phone is out of sight. And then what appears, I'm showing you both screens. The built-in infotainment screen on the left provides quick access to various car functions, while the Android Auto screen on the right allows the use of the apps that are on my phone. So with Android Auto, I'm able to see these apps on a screen larger than my phone and have the option of accessing these apps by voice command. So I'm going to list for you now some of what I call the useful features of Android Auto. So number one is voice commands. When using the voice option of Google Assistant, you can keep your hands on the steering wheel and your eyes on the road. You can initiate an action just by saying, "Hey, Google," and then call someone, ask about the weather. I mean, we all know this list is almost endless. Number two, the navigation apps. Android Auto is compatible with many navigation apps, not only Google Maps and Waze, which are both owned by Google, but others as well. This means you are not limited to the car manufacturer's built-in navigation system, which may not include current traffic and road conditions. And for those that have an EV, there are many charging station finder apps to choose from that can be used with Android Auto. Number three, the on-screen weather updates. Not only can you ask about the current weather, but you can show the latest weather updates on the screen as you travel. This could be particularly useful on long drives when traveling through multiple states or provinces. You can even tweak this feature so it will show information such as visibility, wind speeds, and humidity. Number four, more media choices. So the automatically resume media option within the general settings will resume listening to a song, podcast, or audiobook when you return to your car. And for those that stream their music, you can choose your default provider so that the Google Assistant will know the one you want. And for folks like me, in addition to paying for a streaming service, you can use a music player for the songs you have loaded on your phone, and then choose which ones to play with a voice request. Number five, answering phone calls and messages. Now, like the built-in system that came with my car, text messages can be read to me, but by my adding a text messaging app to Android Auto, I can dictate a reply using Google Assistant. And then calling someone from my contacts has the same functionality as the built-in system, where I can initiate a phone call using a simple voice command. Now, Android Auto is not perfect. Some issues I have faced during my approximately 3 weeks of use. Sometimes Android Auto will just disconnect for no reason at all, with the image on the screen reverting to the built-in version that came with the car. We've not figured out why that happens yet. Many features require a cell phone signal, and where I live, that is not always available. And on occasion, my voice prompts are not understood and need to be repeated, even when the sunroof and windows are closed. Now, while this presentation has focused on Android Auto, it is important to note that Apple CarPlay works in a similar fashion while using an iPhone. Now, the below information I'm going to show is from lifewire.com. So on Android Auto, as I said before, this requires Android 8.0 or newer. The wireless requires Android 11.0 or newer. A customizable display layout is provided. It uses Google Assistant for the voice controls, and it uses Google Maps by default. And then, as I've shown, I think there's wider third-party application compatibility or app compatibility. And it includes also a generative AI to help manage text. Now, on the Apple CarPlay side, this requires the iPhone 5 or newer running iOS 7.1 or newer. The wireless requires iOS 9 or newer. It has a well-organized home screen. It uses Siri for the voice controls. It uses Apple Maps by default, and has a wider availability of wireless connectivity. So, summarizing the benefits of Android Auto, according to Copilot, Android Auto is a fantastic tool that offers these benefits. 1, seamless integration with your phone and the car's touchscreen, making it feel like an extension of your device. Number 2, app compatibility, as a wide range of smartphone apps work quite well with Android Auto. 3, the hands-free operation lets you control features with Google Voice simply by saying, "Hey Google." 4, the easy setup with your phone and USB cable. Once confirming the code the first time, AA launches automatically on subsequent drives. And it has obviously the reduced distractions while driving. So go ahead, connect your phone, give Android Auto a try, and enjoy the ride. That's it. Thank you. The end.
Thanks, Ray. I have a bunch of questions for you and some my own comments, and we'll do that in the Q&A. But it's that great presentation, and my experience here is exactly the same as yours, but I have a few more comments to make. But anyway, yeah, good stuff. And speaking of driving, now we're getting into the final part 2 of this, and we did part 1 last week. So if you're new here and you haven't seen part 1, this video is now combined part 1 and part 2, and it's on our channel as a standalone video if you want to use it. But of course, it'll also be in this show as we record it. So let me share and let me do part 2. So when I was doing aircraft accident investigation, people would always ask me, why did that plane crash? And the answer to that question was always a series of mistakes that occurred. All these mistakes had to line up to equal a crash for the accident to occur. Now, today I'm going to take that same philosophy and use that to help seniors and technology drive more safely. It will be a series of mistakes you make that will get you into trouble. I'm going to use the same analogy to make you, a senior, drive safer. Now, it could be a series of events. It could be you're getting up early in the morning. It could be you're drowsy, you're not feeling well. You come down to the car, you don't do your pre-driving inspection. You may be in a hurry. You may not know where you're going. You may be distracted on the infotainment center. All these factors will lead up to an accident, which we don't want to happen. So let's have a look today at some of the things you can do and some of the technology that's built into cars that will make you drive more safely. All right, you're now in the garage and you're going to go for a drive. The first thing I want you to do is to walk around and inspect the car. Have a look at that. Is the back door closed? Is the hatch closed? As you come around to the other side of the car, you'll see, is it plugged in? Is it charging? How many times in the short time I've had an EV have I forgot to unplug the charging cable? Now, it is true you can't start the car if it's plugged in, but you still have to get back out of that car. Wander around, look at the tires, give it an inspection. Now, when you get into the car, as a senior, you often have problems with mobility. Maybe you have arthritis in your knee or your hip, and it's difficult for you to get in and out of the car. So you don't want to be getting in the car and finding out you left the back door open, so you have to get out, or you have to get out of the car and look at the charging cable and remove the charging cable. So all I'm saying is, before you get in the car, walk around it, have a look at it. This is not a basic thing to do. This is something as a senior we should do, because we don't want to hop out of that car. Unless you've noticed, we don't do a lot of hopping anymore. So let's make sure when we get in that car, we're ready to go. Now you've got in the car and you've started it up. You're going to look at the dashboard and see if there's any indication on the sensors that there's anything wrong. Is there a door open? Is the hatch open? Is there a problem? Because you'll want to stop the car and fix it before you hit the reverse and back out of the garage. Now you do decide everything is fine, you hit the reverse, and the first thing that is going to happen is the backup camera is going to come on. Now all automobiles sold in Canada after 2018 have to have a backup camera installed. This is absolutely important as a senior because it allows us to give us clear access behind the vehicle. We also have sensors behind the vehicle that allow to identify children playing or any obstacles. I find the backup camera is absolutely great. I had one installed on my truck, my 2007 GMC truck that I used for a long time. It didn't have sensors, but it was helpful, but nowhere near what the backup camera on my 2024 Toyota has. It's amazing. Even in the dark, it lights it up behind and tells me if there's anything there. The sensors are amazing, and you also get a huge discount in your insurance if you have this backup technology. So it does work. So as seniors, we have specific medical problems that make backup cameras mandatory. And one of them is the ability to turn. A lot of times due to physical size or arthritis in your neck or difficult medical problems, you're going to find that you can't turn around to look behind you to make sure it's clear. So we rely on these cameras. So if your car does not have a backup camera and you are a senior, head down to Best Buy. They have an automotive department there. They can easily install a backup camera for you. I think that is an extremely wise decision. So you now put it in reverse and you're backing out of the garage onto the driveway. And what happens is it's sunny out. And the next thing you do is you grab your sunglasses. The problem is when you put them on, you can't see the gauges on the car. You know, when we did pilot examinations, we were very particular about sunglasses with pilots because when they wore polarized sunglasses, they couldn't see the gauges. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want a pilot flying around that can't see the gauges. Nor should you be driving if you can't see the gauges either. So usually if you've got sunglasses, you put them on and you can't see the gauges on the dash, that means that you have polarized sunglasses. Now, if you're over the age of 70, it is most likely you've had cataract surgery or you're going to get cataract surgery. Now, cataracts are opacities in the lenses that allow light through to the retina. And of course, part of the problem is things get a little hazy because you can't see, of course, and also darker. And after cataract surgery, when we put nice new clear lenses in, the sun pours in. And everyone after they have cataract surgery have a terrible problem with photosensitivity. The light really bothers them, so you have to wear your sunglasses. Now, this can actually go on for a number of years. I know my wife had it done 2 or 3 years ago, and she still has to wear her sunglasses when she's driving. It bothers her. So this is something that's going to go on for quite some time. So you will need sunglasses when you're driving. This is very important. And I don't want you to be like my mother, who at 85 years old was driving down the highway, and she was always lifting her sunglasses up and down because she couldn't see how fast she was going. So she would lift her glasses up and look, her sunglasses up, so she could see the gauges, and then she'd put them down and drive for a while. How distracting is that? Remember, that's one of the issues that is coming up to an accident, is distraction. So we want to make sure that go to your optometrist, get a proper set of sunglasses that you can see the gauges. Don't be messing around with your glasses as you're driving. Now, you're driving along the road and you want to make it pull into the left-hand lane. Blind spot monitoring is essential as a senior citizen. Most modern cars today have sensors on the left and right-hand side of the vehicle that will let you know if another car is approaching you in your blind spot. If you're trying to make a left turn into that lane in a dangerous situation, well, you'll be notified, and in some cases the car won't let you make that turn. This is of particular importance as a senior for a number of reasons. The first is peripheral vision. There are many medical conditions that affect your peripheral vision. This is one of the things, as I mentioned earlier, the motor vehicle branch will be checking. Because the conditions such as glaucoma, the first symptom is often loss of peripheral vision. And you can't see to the left. You have no idea if that car is there or not. So blind spot monitoring is essential in that situation. The second situation is, of course, as seniors, we don't turn our neck as well. Why? Well, we often have arthritis in our neck. We might have mild arthritis. Some people actually have very disabling arthritis called rheumatoid arthritis. And this is very painful and difficult for them to turn their neck, and they can't actually look to the left to see a car there. And the third condition might even be ankylosing spondylitis. This is an arthritic condition where actually your neck fuses. The arthritis is so bad, the cervical spine fuses, and you have to turn your whole body to turn and look to the left, and you can't see any cars that are coming on that left. And it's a very unsafe situation, and blind spot monitoring is mandatory in those situations. So blind spot monitoring is so important when you're purchasing a car. Now, most new vehicles will have some sort of pre-collision warning system. Toyota calls this a PCS, pre-collision system, but many different manufacturers call it different things. But the idea is that there are sensors in the front of your car looking forward, and they're looking for a number of factors. They'll stop the car if there's an imminent collision. In other words, if you're approaching a car at a high rate of speed, indicating that you're not seeing this vehicle, then it will stop. It also looks for pedestrians and bicycles, and will also stop if those are in the way. This is so important. Now, let me give you a little tip here. As seniors, I'm going to tell you our reflexes just aren't as good as a 20-year-old. You know, those 20-year-olds that are going around, they're texting, they're talking on the phone, they're doing distracted things. Well, we have the wisdom. We're smarter than those 20-year-olds. We have the wisdom. And the wisdom tells us that we should stay focused on the road 100% of the time and not be messing around with those infotainment systems or trying to figure out where you're going on Google Maps. We need to stay focused on that road so we stay safe. Please follow that, and so we stay safe. But as you approach that crosswalk on a dark, rainy night, and someone with a black dog wearing a black hoodie with black pants and black sneakers is walking across an unlit crosswalk. Now, how in the world is anyone supposed to see that person at 11 o'clock on a rainy night in the dark. Well, as a senior, you're not going to see them, but a 20-year-old isn't going to see them either. That's where your pre-collision warning system will identify that individual and stop the car. So this is a very important piece of equipment that you should have on your car. If you're considering the purchase of a new car, this is something that's extremely important to have. All right, you've come up the ramp and you've reached 65 miles an hour on the highway and you're driving along. The first thing is, let's talk about cruise control. Now, I have traveled across Canada twice, all the way to Newfoundland, pulling my fifth wheel and back twice. I've done it twice across the United States, from the East Coast to the West Coast, pulling again my 38-foot fifth wheel. As you'll see in this picture, I've almost worn out the switch for cruise control. Yes, most of that driving was driven under cruise control. One of the big factors that seniors have is fatigue. We get fatigued very easily, and certainly as you get older, the longer you're driving, fatigue is a big factor, and that tends to make you drive at 65 miles an hour for a while, and then it's 50 miles an hour, and then it's 45, and the traffic behind you gets very upset. I certainly saw this happening a lot when I was traveling and met up with seniors driving. So cruise control is a way in which it's going to help you relax, and it's going to keep you at a constant speed, which will make you safer. People who say to me, I don't like cruise control. Most often those are people who have never used cruise control. They don't know how the cruise control works on their new car. They don't know where the buttons are. My advice, if you're going to be doing some highway driving, go out and practice. Know how those buttons work on your control, know how to set the cruise control, and it will be very helpful in reducing fatigue while you're driving. And again, that will make you a safer driver. Now, the next feature is called variable speed control or variable cruise control. It's called different things on different cars. And I think this is like sliced bread. This is such a cool feature. And I wish I had had it on my GMC truck when I was traveling. Unfortunately, when I purchased my truck in 2007, they didn't put variable speed control on trucks. It was only available on automobiles. So what variable speed does is, once you have your cruise control on, and of course you're approaching a car that may be doing 50 and you're doing 65, your cruise control will automatically slow down to 50 miles an hour, whatever the speed of that automobile is. If you then turn on your blinkers and you go to the left and you get in the left lane, you will then speed up and go around the car, and it'll take you back up to whatever your preset highway speed was. This is so helpful when you're driving long distances. That was something I really missed in all the driving I did. I'm so happy it is now on my 2024 RAV4 Prime, and it works great. The final topic I want to talk about today is lane assist. Now, lane assist may mean different things on different vehicles, but I'm going to explain it on my 2023 and 2024 RAV4s. Now, on my 2023 RAV4, when I turn the lane assist on while I'm on the highway, it identifies the left and right lines on the road that indicate the lane. And if I wandered off to the left or wandered off to the right, it would warn me with a beeping sound and turn the car back into the lane. Now, when I moved from 2023 to 2024 to my Toyota RAV4 Prime, I was absolutely surprised at the change in the lane assist feature. The lane assist feature on my 2024 RAV4 Prime actually will hold the car in the center of the lane. When I turn the lane assist on, it keeps the car in the center of the road. Now, this is really interesting because you're going to say, Ron, if you have variable speed control and you have your speed control on and it's holding the car in the center of the lane, don't you have a self-driving car? Well, you actually do. And it's very interesting, but that is a topic that I plan on doing another video about. And I think it is interesting technology. I think it can be very helpful for seniors. I think it can be very helpful for seniors, but of course, it is going to require some training and getting used to. So I hope to do another video about that in the future. So hopefully some of the things I've taught you today will allow you to drive longer, but most important, be safer. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Have a great day. All right, there we go. Ray, are you ready to go? Let me just say goodbye to everybody over on our YouTube channel. Thank you for coming. And if you want to pop over, we still have room in our meeting today. If you want to pop over and participate in the Q&A, I'm sure there'll be lots of questions. You're welcome to do so. So I'm just going to stop the feed now, and then I'll let you take over, Ray.
Okay, let me. Remembering Toby Keith. So today's commentary is provided by Gemini. That's the new name for Google's Bard's AI. Starts with, quote, Toby Keith, born Toby Keith Colville, that was July 8th, 1961, was a prominent figure in American country music, known for his chart-topping hits, rebellious spirit, and strong connection to his Oklahoma roots. He was born in Clinton, Oklahoma. Keith was introduced to music early through his grandmother's supper club. He pursued diverse paths, initially working in the oil industry and briefly playing semi-professional football. Music eventually beckoned, and he launched his career in the late 1980s. At that time, by the early 1990s, he signed with Mercury Records. His self-titled debut album and hit single, Should Have Been a Cowboy, in 1993 marked a turning point. Subsequent albums like Boomtown and Blue Moon solidified his success, with chart toppers like Who's That Man and Me Too, and collaborations like I'm So Happy I Can't Stop Crying with Sting earned him a Grammy nomination. Now he switched to DreamWorks Records and released critical and commercial successes like Pull Away and Whiskey Ain't Done. Patriotism became a key theme, with hits like Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, The Angry American, that sparked discussion and controversy. Duets with Willie Nelson, Beer for My Horses, and Keith Urban, Crying for Me, Crying for You, further broadened his reach. He continued releasing albums and chart hits like Made in America and As Good as I Once Was. Launched business ventures like restaurants and a clothing line, expanding his brand beyond music. And he briefly entered politics before returning to music, now facing health challenges later in life. He sold over 40 million albums, garnering 20 #1 country hits and numerous awards. Known for his relatable lyrics, energetic live performances, and unwavering connection to his fans. And he's remembered for his unique blend of traditional country sounds with rock and patriotic influences. Toby Keith passed away peacefully on February 5, surrounded by his family after a 2-year battle with stomach cancer. He was only 62 years old. He fought his illness with courage and grace, even continuing to perform until a few months before his passing. His legacy as a country music icon and a beloved entertainer will continue to inspire fans and musicians alike. Now, rather than trying to pick out one of his many songs to showcase his talent, I'm going to let the Academy of Music tell his story by remembering Toby Keith.
Amazing career, eh? Yes, indeed. Thanks, Ray, for doing that. That was great. So we're going to move into the Q&A now, but before, some of you probably have to say goodbye. Don't forget, we have a show coming up this Thursday. And remember, we did a video on how to find us on Thursday. I'll have that video up on our website this week, so we can certainly, anyway, hopefully we'll see you this Thursday. If not, we'll see you again next Monday. And don't forget, the premiere video will be starting at hour. Huey's going to tell us how to find all those channels we need in these streaming services. Thank you for doing that, Huey. Mike's going to go over and give us the final word on EV charging batteries, and Bill's going to give us tips for Windows. So all that will happen at 1/2 on our premiere video. Just a couple of things. We do make these videos for you to use in your home club. So we have no copyright on them. We encourage, and tell you over and over, and download them, show them, play them to your clubs. Don't worry, we that's why we make them, for you to use. So please do that. And it makes us really happy, as well as we do thank you. If you have to leave, we do appreciate you coming and talking to us and being here today. It's your being here that really gives us the enthusiasm to keep going and making these videos. Ray, just a comment before we get to Carl. If I had to write the same video you did, I would have done exactly as you did. Everything you said, I experienced. See, the one little problem I have, and I have a 2024, like the newest of all Toyotas, right, is getting that damn CarPlay, the Android Auto, to stay connected. It's the Bluetooth, and I have a feeling it's the Bluetooth connectivity between my Pixel phone and the radio, that Bluetooth pairing. There's always security issues. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. What I've found to solve that problem is to plug it in, like you did. If there's a USB port in the car, and if I plug it in, it always works, right? But
Right,
if I unplug it, it's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't connect, sometimes it does. So it's crazy Bluetooth stuff, right?
Right. Now, did you consider Android Automotive?
Well,
You had a new car, so you had the opportunity to have that added, right?
I'm not sure. It came with all the stuff on there. When I connected it, I think it's Android Auto. It all connects. I have all the stuff there that I can do, and I do it all.
I tried to make the point in my presentation. Android Auto is when you plug in your phone. Android Automotive is an operating system built into the car when it's made at the factory. So therefore, when you were ordering your car, you had the opportunity to say, "I'd like Android Automotive to be part of the car." Did you do that?
I think in Toyota it's Android Auto, which is in the. I just checked it.
So you don't have
online.
the okay.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Carl. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask the geeks on tour gal, Chris, about I got the new Ultra phone, and when I take pictures, it takes like a little video vignette before it freezes the picture. And I want to know how to turn that off. And I don't know if it's already a lot of pictures. I was on a cruise for 10 days. I just got back Saturday. And I took a lot of photos, and all of them the still photos it's like a little video. It sort of takes a little video and then it stops. And I suppose I can't do anything about the ones that are already done. But that was a question I had. How do you turn that off? And what's the purpose for that in the first place?
So I'm not sure. I don't know if Chris is here. I know
It's called motion photo. Can you hear me?
Can you hear? Okay, go ahead, Chris.
It's called motion photo, and it's a little button right on the camera. You can turn it off and on.
Did you get that, Carl?
Yeah, I don't.
It's a feature of the phone, not of Google Photos or things like that. It's a feature of your Samsung phone. And when you go into the camera and you are ready to point at something, you have a bunch of options. And one of them is that motion. And you have to change the default photo option to just take a single photo.
Right.
Okay,
now, one of the advantages, Carl, is that you can then, if you don't like the picture that you have, you can scroll through the video and choose any of along that little video, that little clip. You can choose any of those images, and you can say, yes, that's what I want. So if you're not smiling, you're taking pictures of someone, they're not smiling, just simply scroll along until you find one when someone's smiling. That's the picture you want, and say, save it, and that's your picture. Okay, that's why it does the little clip.
I see. Okay, because it only does it for like a second.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But it gives people's, the light changes, people's motions change. You might smile. People might just smile. It's the little thing. Your choice on that, but you can turn it off.
Okay. The other quick question was what Ray and Android Auto. I have a 2017 and 2020 vehicle, when I tried it on the 2017, one of the problems I had, maybe Ray knows, is when I was using auto, and then when you have your phone and you want to go to another app, you hit that little middle button or square or circle, whatever, and you can go to another screen. Well, when you're in Android Auto, you don't have that feature. You have to disconnect your phone.
Yeah, are you talking about going back to a feature that's on the original infotainment system?
No, well, if on your phone, if you say you're doing two-factor authentication, you don't want, and you do something, and it sends a code to your phone where you hit that little square on my Android, and you could freeze that frame and then go back, get the code, and then go back to your app, say you want to log into something. You can't do that when you're in. I could not do it, at least in the 2017 vehicle I had.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I don't think that's a specific. Now you have to do something where your phone has to take the action. You can't type that on your screen as an example. So
exactly.
So
that was a shortcoming.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That I don't know how to do that, but there is a way that I figured out. I can switch back easily by pressing buttons from the original infotainment system to the Android Auto screen back and forth.
Okay. Okay.
That's actually a safety feature. Android Auto is designed for you when you're in the auto. You shouldn't be using your phone.
Yeah,
you don't want to wind up doing two-factor authentication while you're driving.
Right.
Murray, go ahead.
Okay, a couple of things. First of all, Chris already answered my question for her, but I want to make one more driving tip. Several years ago, I had something called a myelotherapy, where they do a bunch of stuff with your muscles, but afterwards, for several weeks, you're very, very weak. Your muscles are very weak. And I had planned a trip to California, so I asked the doctor if I could still do that, and he said, yes, you can, but you must get out of the car every half hour, even if it's just to walk around the car, just for a couple of minutes, but you have to do that every half hour. Now, fortunately, from Victoria to California, the rest stops happened to be almost exactly half an hour apart. So that worked out perfectly. But even after that was all over, I found that it had many other benefits. First of all, you don't get so tired. We used to get drowsy in the afternoon after lunch, maybe an hour after lunch, we'd start to get drowsy. Well, if we did this half an hour walk around every half hour, we found that didn't happen anymore. But I would say that is a safety tip, especially for seniors, is if you're on a long trip, make sure you get out of the car frequently, even if it's just to walk around the car and get back in, because that'll make a huge difference on things like back pain and certainly drowsiness. It helps a lot for drowsiness.
My Garmin actually recommends it comes up when a certain amount of time is evolved. It's probably a good time to make a stop. So
yeah, my watch will say it's time to get up and walk around, but I haven't had my watch, I haven't had any long road trips since I got my watch, so I haven't had that useful feature.
The other
question is, go ahead.
The other thing that makes you fatigued and tired is dehydration, and it's so important in your car that you drink. You really need to stay well hydrated, and that will help you stay more alert.
Right. And if you stay well hydrated, you're going to have to make a pit stop anyway. So that takes care of everything.
Especially my wife will, especially. Now, the other thing I was looking at the nail clippers. Did you get yours from Amazon?
Yes.
Because I didn't see any less than $30.
I'll send you the link.
Okay, but also I didn't see any. Almost everyone that I've looked at so far says doesn't work with toenails.
Oh, I don't. Yeah. Anyway, but I'll send you the link, Murray.
Okay, thanks a lot.
No problem. Yes, go ahead. Sorry, saw computer.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone, or evening, whatever, or afternoon, whatever it is. A suggestion for Ron or anyone else that once in a while you notice your cell phone pairing with the car is not acting like it used to, would be to delete the pairing, delete the phone from the car and the car from the phone, and just start over with a new repairing. And you'd be amazed sometimes how that can just correct simple problems where it doesn't act right anymore.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree entirely. You know, I do that sometimes, and I just get fed up with it after a while because it works for a month. Every time I hop in and out of the car, you know, it pairs fine, and then I go through it won't pair, and it just is so frustrating. But I have in the last 3 weeks just plugged it in, and it always works when I plug it in. So that's I'm happy with that. All right. Any other comments, questions?
Ron, I just sent a text to you. Send us all the link for the nail clip.
Okay, I will. Well, in fact, don't forget if you go back and look at I know you keep all the past editions of our newsletters. If you go back to 2 weeks, I think you'll find the one Bill has. I'm not sure, Murray, if the one I bought was exactly the same as Bill's, because Bill's chooses his off the US Amazon site and I use the Canadian site. So, but it's probably the same company that just manufactures them into different.
Well, I think they all come from China anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. They're probably all made by the same company. Yeah, I'll send you. Don't worry, I'll send you the link, Murray. Donna, go ahead.
We have a new car as well, and my husband has it working with his phone. But the thing is, we don't know whether it would be smart to use two people on the car, two different phones. My phone is newer than his phone, and we were kind of told don't do both of you. That might be a problem. So I don't know if that's true or not, but at this point, I just use my phone for directions and leave the map up on the screen on the car. But when he drives, he puts the map up on the screen on the car as well with his voice. So you and your wife switch off in the same car with the CarPlay or not?
Yeah, but she doesn't use her phone on it. I would, if the systems are made for multiple phones, like it shouldn't be a problem. Like they're right in my Toyota, it's got which you could have.
Right, there's a driver one, driver two.
Exactly. It shouldn't make any difference. The only problem is, and I think it's the security of the Bluetooth connection in your phone. And it's, sometimes your phone says, "Hey, is this really a connection you want?" or something. It just doesn't pair. Like I agree, repairing is the way to go. But I think it just is easier to plug it in. I don't mind when I get in the car plugging my phone in. It's not a big deal. And that's the solution. I think this Bluetooth stuff just doesn't seem to want to work all the time.
It's getting better. It's getting better.
Getting better, but I hate Bluetooth. They got to come up with some other thing other than Bluetooth. I hate Bluetooth.
Green tooth.
Yeah. Okay, Don, any further questions? Drew, go ahead.
No, it's just at this point we do it differently because he primarily drives it, and I didn't want to mess up that it wouldn't work with,
Well, the other thing too, Don, is remember, if you take your phone and you put Google Maps on and you say, "Take me so and so," your phone will give you the drive. We'll do all the destinations. Just listen to your phone. Put it right beside you in the car. It doesn't actually have to go connect into the system, right?
Right. That's what I do at this point versus
simpler.
I think it's simpler. Through like he does. Okay, thank you.
I think it's simpler. What we don't want to have happen, here's what I don't want to see happen, is it's confusing, and as you're driving down the road, you're pushing buttons on the infotainment center to try and get it to connect, and it won't connect, and you're spending too much time not focusing on the road. You're focusing on trying to get that thing working, and that's where I think people get into trouble. Go ahead, Drew.
I'm working on him getting the habit of putting the route in before we leave the driveway.
Yeah. That's exactly what
automatically. It doesn't work that way.
Right. That's right. Drew, go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciated the presentation, the refresher on Snapseed. I learned about Snapseed a couple of years ago when I first joined Stug. It was one of the monthly presentation meetings. And I noticed that one of the slides showed that it doesn't run on Windows. If you have Windows 11 and you load the Windows Android subsystem, I've been running Snapseed on Windows for a couple of years now. I don't know if that would make possibly for interesting video on how to load an Android app such as Snapseed on your Windows 11 computers. You know, if you have a touchscreen, it works just like it does on your phone.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And the Snapseed is such a cool program and such a unique program that I taught that with Chromebooks like years ago when Chris told me about it. And I think, we started using Snapseed, and I thought this is great because it just works better on a regular, laptop, which of course your Chromebook works perfectly. So it was always one of my big features that I showed when I was demoing Chromebooks was look what we can do with Chromebook. But yeah, that might be an interesting video to do. Can I leave that so maybe you could hint that might be something you might be interested in doing? I'd work with you on it. hint.
Yeah, because I thought that would be interesting for people to learn how to do an Android install and have it be the Snapseed app as the demo to do it.
That'd be a great one. Yeah. So I will work with you on that, Drew. And Carl, the final word before we have to go.
Yeah, when Ray was giving his presentation, I have the new smart, Ultra phone that's sitting nearby, and he used the word Google Call. My phone woke up and said, "Who do you want to call?" Even though it's
Yep.
There you go.
You weren't the only one that had some effects from that. Hey,
everything
you can't use hey and Google at the same time. That doesn't work.
Right. All right, everyone. Listen, a great show today. Thanks everyone for coming. We do appreciate you coming. Don't forget, come and visit us on Thursday. And otherwise, we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Have a great week. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Hello.